Perhaps you're in this video because you dislike the person you are right now and you believe can be more. Or maybe because you have some regrets about the year that just passed and you want to correct some of them. Perhaps you want to break some bad habits and start some new ones. But the problem is that it just seems like the same narrative every year and you don't know where to begin. However, if you don't want to change, you won't be able to change anything. A strong will to change must be combined with a good strategy. That is why in this video, I will share with you some things that may help transform your life. Not in an overnight sort of way. One which demands a consistent mechanism day after day. But before all that, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be updated whenever we upload new videos like this. So the first step is to choose one thing to focus on. It's awfully appealing to try to let your mind run amok with all the things you want to change about your life. Your mental health, your physical health, your social life. This is good. This intention and drive to keep improving is incredibly helpful. But you should devote all of this emotion to attempting to change one thing about your life first. Later in the process, as this thing becomes a routine, it may only take a few days to adapt new habits you want to add on your list. But what do you prioritize? Well, I believe the first thing you should do is make a detailed and specific list of things you want to change about your life in various areas. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in terms of your financial situation? What about your social life? What do you want the state of your mental health to be? Be very specific and detailed about this. What would it look like if you could condense one of these things into a daily habit that you could implement? And then, when you've ascertained the admissible process for achieving that ultimate goal, it's critical to consider whether you're comfortable carrying out that process on a daily basis. Is this a possibility for you? Do you think you'll be able to stick with it? Because you'll be interacting with this process all of the time. You will have no interaction with the goal. Your goal will change once you arrive. That thing will feel like the process itself. You will never feel as if you are achieving your goal. You must learn to fall in love with the process itself, which is possible because a lot of satisfaction comes from the quiet realization that you're steering your life in the right direction. If it is your desire to be well-read and well-versed in literature, and you make a decision that this is the one thing you want to work on, anyone who's actually been successful with that will understand that the thing that has kept them going wasn't this complex idea or this vague sentiment of getting smarter. They just learned to love reading for what it really is. The small slice of their end goal became the enjoyable thing to interact with. Decide what aspects of your life you want to change. What exactly does this look like? Then figure out how that thing sounds on a daily basis. Secondly, forcing yourself is a good thing, a lot of the time. But how about the toxic hustle culture? What about becoming exhausted? And this toxic self-improvement is really taking over your mind. But I think that's all nonsense to some extent, because everything meaningful in life will always demand for some form of dedication. You're not going to want to go to the gym a lot of the time. You're not going to want to read books all of the time. You won't want to drink more water or do whatever you've decided is the thing for you. However, you must never assess the value of something in your life before doing it. We're talking about doing things you've already decided is beneficial for you and will help you get to where you want to go in life and be someone you're proud of. And a lot of the time, even if these things are remarkably good for you, you're going to have a lot of emotional and physical resistance to doing them before you actually do them. These lame excuses are things like, you're getting burnt out, take a break today. But in these situations, you'll find that nearly 100% of the time, if you just do the thing, after all, you'll realize that those reasons are meaningless. And while we're on the subject of burnout, feeling lethargic or depressed, it's extremely difficult to feel that way when you're continuously taking a proactive approach. Sitting down doing nothing and letting opportunities pass you by is far more demoralizing for you than forcing yourself to go to the gym, even if you're tired. So use your logic. It is best to push past the resistance and realizations that are keeping you from doing something you already know identified to be good for you. Finally, I'd like to emphasize that you can make the processes work for you. Turns out, there is actually a way to make the processes truly more enjoyable, and there are numerous approaches you can use to accomplish this. It's critical to recognize that you're on your own side. You don't want to punish yourself for making a mistake. You don't want to engage in activities that are completely off-putting to you. There are things that can make these things feel good at the moment. Reading books is yet another example. Perhaps you despise sitting down to read a book. As an alternative, you could try audiobooks. Perhaps you'd like to make writing a habit of doing so every morning. Then, you may make a rule with yourself that you can't have your first sip of coffee until you've written your first line of text of writing. And while you're writing, you can enjoy this nice hot cup of coffee. Do not be afraid to change your approach and the habit so that it becomes more pleasurable to you. And if the practice itself is something you look forward to, I guarantee you'll have no difficulty adjusting to that change in the long run. Start by taking it one habit at a time if you want to drastically transform your life in a year. Determine why you want to do that habit and what the ultimate goal of that habit is, and then try to make that habit as enjoyable for yourself as possible. And once you've done that, go ahead and do it anyway, regardless of your reasoning. Assess whether that thing was helpful for you after you did it, not before you did it. You can begin doing this and accumulating new habits as often as you might. After 1 month, you've established one habit. Add a new one the following month. And by the end of the year, you may have developed 12 new habits, which may be excessive at that point. You may just require a few core habits to completely transform your life. But honestly, the possibilities are endless over the course of a year if you apply all these things and combine them with a strong desire and constant persistence. If you implement the strategy and integrate it with your desire and will to change, you can be in a much superior place this time next year. So good luck to everyone, whether it's New Year's, July, August, September, or whenever. This concept applies to you regardless of when you watch this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found value in the video. If you did, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. It really helps. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to see more content like this. With that said, have a great day you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.